Hey, everybody, welcome up to another episode of Brokers Open Podcast. I'm Dr. Ben Spears, Dr. Flo. I'm here as usual with Matt Vi, the big guy. What's up, Matt?
Man, just living the dream. We're just telling our guests that's what we're doing. We're living the dream here in Florida. So
Yep, that's exactly right. Well, you brought up our guest. Let's go ahead and bring her on because we want to make sure everybody gets to hear her story. And, she's got a pretty cool calling as well. We want to share with everybody as well. So let's bring on Elisha Lopez. She is the broker owner of Realty World in Ocala, Florida. Just a couple, just a couple hours north of us.
mhm.
And happy to talk to a native. How's it going, Alicia?
It is wonderful. I'm living in paradise with you guys.
That's exactly right. So, everybody always wants to know, right? Like, okay, give us just a little bit of a backstory. Let me learn who I'm actually talking to. So, why don't you tell us, a little bit about how you got into real estate, how you became, what made you decide to be a broker, and and tell us a little bit about Realty World.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to be here, and I love to always get to share this part of my story because I think it happens to so many of us that we never planned to get into real estate. And somehow we end up here, and we're so grateful that we actually did. So
Yeah.
my story is this similar to in that sense to many, but I've actually been in the industry for 25 years already, almost 26 at this point. And I mean, I just can't even believe it's been that long, but it's been a crazy, chaotic, blessed ride. And I think we can all agree that's real estate. And it probably
That
is
is
what keeps us in it because of that adrenaline rush, right? It's a good one. But 25 years ago, I started off as an assistant and not by choice. At the time, uh, I was just helping
mhm.
somebody in the industry. And I said, you know what? I'm going to just take over. I'm going to be your assistant. And I was going for my bachelor's degree in interior design. So that's actually where my heart, my passion, like, I just love beautiful things. I love design, but my brain works in that way, which is now I know that's what has helped me
Mhm.
become successful in the industry and been able to help so many agents because it's like a puzzle in your head all the time. And when you can see things before they actually happen, that really helps in our
Yep.
business. But I was an assistant, and then a couple years later, moving to Ocala because of an investment property, I realized really quick that the market for interior design back then, so this is probably like 21 years ago, there was no market for that here at that time. And I thought, gosh, well, what am I going to do? Because I'm not one to sit around and do nothing. And I said, well, I'm going to get my real estate license because my
Right.
now ex-husband, but at the time husband, he was in the industry already for like almost 10 years. So I thought, well, okay, fine, I'll finally get my license because he had been wanting me to do that forever. And little did
Mhm.
I know I would just absolutely fall in love with the business. But I started off as an assistant, so I learned it backwards, which I know also helped me become a broker because I mean like a better broker because it's the little details, it's the little
Yep.
things that most don't even realize exist that really help you to or make you a successful broker and a good broker because a lot of brokers they don't pay attention to the details, and that's what gets them in trouble.
Absolutely. And if their agents don't, that's an even bigger problem.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yes. And I think that like I'm kind of proud of it, that control freak part of my
Right.
personality, it had paid off because you really have to be. You have to be in every little detail of the business as a broker because the agents, they're not going to be paying attention. They should, but that's why you're the broker. And
Mhm.
so being like having to have that much control over everything, it really has benefited my business immensely and for my agents.
Yeah, that's so good. And you bring up a really great point, right? So the broker offers this big umbrella, right? And then the
Hmm.
agent kind of stays out from under the rain, under the big umbrella, but they
Hmm.
still have to be able to, focus on the things that they need to. They still have to be able to run a business and all of that, but they don't have to do as much as the broker does if they're with that right broker, because the right broker is helping them stay ahead of things, helping
Hmm.
them make sure that they stay on track with things, making sure that there's as few stumbling blocks in the way and everything. So we love it that you're helping your agents out in Ocala with that. So Ocala's horse country, right?
Kinda. Yes, and we are known for horses for sure. Our equestrian community is really what put Ocala on the map, horse
Hmm.
capital of the world, but we're becoming so much more, especially in the last couple years, and then moving forward, they I was reading, I think what maybe it was Redfin, where an article, and they were saying that we are mini metro
Right.
still, but within the next 5 years we'll be a full-blown metropolis and probably in the top three in the entire state because of the amount of growth we're experiencing.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
there's a lot of space there. That's another big part
Still,
of it.
yeah.
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 Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that's fantastic. Okay, so we talked a little bit about how you became an agent. Now there's a really particular part. This is part of the reason why we wanted you to come on the podcast and sharing your story. Right. You really like to help a specific set of real estate agents out, right?
Mhm.
There's some that you really like to focus on. Tell everybody a little bit about that and how you kind of got there, and then how you assist that segment of the real estate agents.
Yes, so women in real estate, and I mean, obviously, being a woman,
Hmm.
um, but for us women, and I always say boss ladies, that there's so many layers to our life in general, and it's hard sometimes for women to be able to juggle, being a mom. You got wife, mom, business, and
Hmm.
then a lot of time, like your career, like what do you want to do with your life? And I had always looked at life, and I know my mom just raised me that way, that like I
Hmm.
could do whatever I wanted to do. Like there was no like cap, there's no like certain type of rules just because I was a woman. She just instilled that in me, like you can do whatever you want. And so with that mindset, that's how I see, my agents and other women in our industry. And for the longest time, I was actually teaching the pre-licensing
Hmm.
class, like that
You
for
mentioned,
10
right?
years. And I just haven't for a while, only because with the shift in the industry, it's hard for brand new agents to get going, like it
Hmm.
has always been. And if you don't have the right broker and the right, training and all of those things, but I just also saw such a need for agents that are already have been in the industry for years and they're not getting the training, the attention that they need to help them grow. So I actually shifted my, I guess, like the way I've been doing business about bringing on agents and especially women that are been in it for, it could be a long time, but at least, a
Right.
couple of years and they've done some deals. So like it's there, they have what it takes, but they just haven't had the right leader to, grab them by the hand and say, come on, like I'm going to show you how I was taught. And it's still kind of really unheard of in our industry because now with technology, with virtual brokerages, all of these things like that human one-on-one, like, hey, let me give you a
Hmm.
hug. I know it was a hard day, or like, I need a hug. I'm having a hard day. Like
Right.
it's becoming less and less again just because of technology, but we're all humans still.
Right.
With AI and technology, all these things, like you cannot replace a hug. And
Right.
so pouring into my agents, especially women, and I think it's natural too for women, like we're just drawn together. We're like, I got you, I'm going to build you up, and we stick together and we want to see each other, all of us win. I'd say 75, 80% of my agents have been with me for almost 10 years already. Since,
Nice.
yeah, so, it's awesome because to be able to be a part of their life and know that I
Hmm.
got to help them achieve what they've wanted for their lives and even stuff that they never even expected that they could do.
Right.
Like selfishly, that is the absolute best feeling in the world and it never gets old. So it's like, oh, I had to do that again. I got to find somebody else to help so I
That's
can feel
cool.
good and they get to feel good too.
Yeah, that's super cool. I love that. Okay, so let's dig into that a little bit because I think that's an incredible perspective and I love that. So let's say that there's agents listening right now, and I'm sure that what you're talking about doesn't just work for women, but we
Oh
can
yeah.
stay on that, right?
Hmm.
Oh, so what is something that you're seeing that agents aren't paying enough attention to in their business? And if they really want to kind of go to that next level, if they want to kind of generate more opportunities, or if they want to grow their business, or if they want to be better at what they're doing, or if they want to, have a more powerful sphere of influence or whatever, what's something that you see that the people that you're helping, What's something that you see that they need to do in order for them to get and stay on the right track in order to have the real estate career that they need? What's something that they should work on?
And I would say for their business, but just life in general, because a my productivity coach years ago, like you come across people and there's always like that one thing like that will always stick in your head that you've heard
Hmm.
from somebody that anytime a question like this, it just pops in my head. And it was that whatever shows up in business is gonna is showing up in your personal life. So if you fix you and you work on you personally, then it's natural that your business is going to grow. So emotional intelligence and being flexible, those are just like human traits that if
Hmm.
we get that stuff right and continue to grow that, then our it's natural that our business is also going to grow because a lot of the things that we see are human stuff. It's not
Hmm.
like industry specific. And it comes with mindset. And if our mind's not right, our health isn't going to be right.
Hmm.
I completely burned the candle at both ends. Let's see, when the market crashed in '08, so foreclosure market, like around 2010,
Hmm.
I was a Fannie Mae listing agent, which was amazing because it
Right.
catapulted my career to who I am today.
Right.
But
At the
we
same
didn't
time.
have technology like we have now. Like a BPO was like manual, a broker
Yep.
price opinion, right? And
Right.
there were times I was doing 20 a day. I had like 100, at any given time, about 100 properties in my pipeline with, one assistant in the office, one out in the field, and it was still not enough. And
Yep.
literally burned the candle at both ends. And I had to learn the hard way. I had to take care of myself, which I'm grateful for, because I couldn't sit here today and talk to you guys if I wouldn't have learned that hard lesson. And my leader, like the way that I lead and being a broker, it always goes back to, okay, wait a minute, what's going on in life? Because the stress, the overwhelm, most of the time it's not coming from the business, it's coming from an outside influence
Right.
in my personal life. So I help my agents heal and deal with those things. I've got a lot of like local doctors and therapists, like all different things that help with life in general.
Right.
And once we start getting that stuff right, and that's that thing about being flexible and just being open and we gotta let our guard down because if we don't ask for help and if we don't allow ourselves to be helped, like we'll never achieve any like all those hopes and dreams, they don't never happen just because we're not, letting it in. And most of the time people are taught, don't talk. Don't tell
Hmm.
anyone about your problems. Don't say what's really going on. You don't want to embarrass yourself. And we have to talk because everybody has a story, like what we're doing here, right?
Yep.
And
100%.
you think, well, oh, someone said it already, but it doesn't matter because it was that one time that you said the one thing that that one person heard, that it moved
Yep.
them in that moment. And then that's what it's all about. And just being open to ask for help and share. It's
Yeah.
amazing how we get help and we learn from others.
Yeah, I love that. I love
Mhm.
that. And so I'm just going to pretend, I'm going to pretend that I'm one of your agents, right? And so, um, obviously, I'm coming in and I'm like, yeah, I want to grow my real estate business. But I'm like, hey, I've got kids and I got two boys and they're in sporting events all the time and that kind of thing. I've kind of figured out my schedule, right? I'm like, okay, these are the times when I can work. These are the times, when I need to make sure that I'm dedicated and being a good daddy over here. What are the things that you would tell me to do, or there are certain, tools that you say, gosh, like you need to pour yourself into like learning this. Like we're really big proponents on like a CRM, right? We tell
Mhm.
everybody, every agent, right?
Yep.
You have to use a CRM, right? It doesn't have to be a tool, but what would you tell me of coming in and saying like, okay, we need your mindset's good. I love it. What is it that I need to do to
Mhm.
start generating business, in your market?
So we're gonna sit down and then we're gonna figure out. So you've got your database, and let's say you don't act. If you're, are you a brand new agent or you're coming from another
Yeah,
brokerage?
we'll say
Because
I'm
if
a
you're
new
coming from
agent.
another brokerage, you should have. Okay, so you have your CRM in a sense. We just have to convert it into something that's gonna work for the business, right? And which we've got actually, and I offer probably like three different CRMs because everyone's different. And what I might like, another agent might say, oh, this is too complicated. Even though I try to always have it like a third to fifth grade level, because that means that everybody can understand, be happy. They're not going to get stuck. It's not going to become a problem. But everybody likes different. So there's probably like three different ones. And then I even encourage agents that if it's not what we offer in the brokerage, if there's something that they like, be my guest, just have it. Like
Mhm.
I used to be so old school with that years. I mean, it's probably 15 years ago with my little notebook, and you're writing stuff
Right.
down. You stick it in the side of the car at a street light, like, okay, who else do I need to follow up with? And that's what I'm gonna go over is like, how can we figure out with your life and what you do on a daily basis and with your children and your other interests, all these things, we're gonna figure all that stuff out and then we're going to work the business into your life because real estate is a life experience. It's not like, okay, I'm in office and, a stuffy job. It fits into everything that we do on a daily basis because everybody needs a place to live. And so you go to the kids' sporting events, you've got other parents there, and then I'm going to teach you the language on how do you weave into every conversation that you have with everybody so that they know that you're in real estate and you'd be happy to help them or a family member, a friend buy or sell. So it's a it's a lifestyle, it's a language, and then that's what we're going to dive deep into.
Yeah, so we say it all the time. Vocabulary matters, right? How you say
Hmm.
something is just as important as what you say,
Oh
and
yeah.
so you've got to say it the right way and have I'm not huge on scripts. Okay, I think that scripts are great for beginners
Hmm.
because it gives them a place to start. But
Yeah.
what you really need is a dialogue, right?
Yep.
What is the conversation ultimately going to be around that's going to help you grow, right?
Hmm.
So I love that. That's so cool. So tell me, so you're going to talk to them about having their going to how to have the conversation with the people that they know and everything. How do you, and you're a teacher, you're an educator. We can tell you that's your background, all that kind of stuff. We can tell.
Hmm.
How do you keep agents on track with their education? Because sometimes they kind of fall by the wayside a little bit, right? They get really
Hmm.
busy on what they're doing. They start focusing on the business that they're doing and everything. They lean into that because they have to, because that's what's
Hmm.
paying the light bills. But all of a sudden, if they're not careful, they pick their head up and real estate has moved on by, right? They're using the wrong contract. They're using the things aren't going the way they're supposed to. They don't know what AI means. They don't, right? All of that, right? Everything's passing by. So, how do you get them to, as an educator at heart, how do you get them to pick their head up and look around at the education that they need to be doing, and how do you get them to lean into that so that it's not just the CEs that they do to keep their license active, you know?
So I actually do the training, and I call it teaching from the top. And that's another, I'd say, like item of value. What really sets my like myself as a broker and my brokerage apart from most is because that's always something that's handed off to somebody else. And unfortunately, maybe an agent that has not had experience or done well in the business, and they need money or a salary, whatever it is, and then from a book they're teaching. But I want to learn from experience because sharing our stories and our experiences is really the best way to teach others because we
Mhm.
become so relatable. And so when an agent comes on with this, they know that, oh wow, like Alicia's teaching me. And then of course I have some of my top agents, like I said, that been with me for 10, almost 10 years. And like I know that if any of them are helping any of the agents and teaching them, that I don't have to worry because I taught them. So I know
Mhm.
that they're in good hands. But that's just what's so important is because I mean my license at the end of the day is on the line and that's how I feed my
Mhm.
family. And so it only benefits me to make sure that they're getting what they need, but it's because I could do it because I have the experience. Um, and another thing we said with like, contracts and stuff. So my
Mhm.
transaction management system, I only have the contracts and addendums that are in our system that they could use. So they can't
Mhm.
just go pick whatever
Right.
they want. And
Right.
they're personalized with our logo, so that way I know where they grabbed it
At
from.
a glance, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So they cannot grab anything and they know that their file's not compliant if it's not within our transaction management system. Because years and years ago, when I first started off, I remember an agent grabbing a single agent listing agreement.
Mhm.
And you're checking the file to close it out and be
You're
compliant.
like,
I'm like,
what?
why does this look so different? And gosh, it's probably like 14 years ago.
Right.
Way down, I was like, okay, well, we gotta fix that. That's not gonna happen again. So
Right.
you hit your head, things come up that you're like, I didn't see that coming. But then you adjust and you fix it so you don't have holes in your business. But that's the part about paying attention. You really have to pay attention to those little things because it's the smallest little thing that could become the biggest problem.
Yeah, 100%. I
Mhm.
love everything that you shared with us today. I think everybody's going to get a lot out of this episode. I want to make sure that, anybody listening who wants to get in touch with you, learn more about your brokerage, or just wants to be connected with a really cool person, how they can get in touch with you. Can you tell me what that is? And I'll make sure I put in links in the description below.
Absolutely. So I'm on every social platform. If you direct message me on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere, it's coming directly to me. And that's another thing, like being the control freak, like I still handle that piece of it because I want to make sure that that connection and that experience that that's so important that they get me. So that
Yeah.
way they know, because sometimes, you can have a virtual assistant. And I think all that stuff is great, but it's never you. And when people and agents are coming to you for you and that energy and experience, I always feel it's just so important that the initial contact is always me. So they get me.
Perfect. I love that.
Thank you.
What's your Instagram handle?
Alicia Flourishing or Ocala Realty World, either one. They're both
Okay.
me. And
Perfect.
same thing on Facebook. It's the same.
Perfect. I'll make sure to put those there. We appreciate you so much
Thank
coming on the show. And Matt, we bring on amazing guests like
you.
Alicia. It's a Brokerage Open
Awesome.
podcast powered by Prime Real Estate Coaching because it's not just about opening the door to more opportunities. It's about closing more transactions. We'll see you guys next time.